Planetary defence is going to impact all of humanity. So if we have, for example, an asteroid coming toward us, this is something that will have an immediate impact on everyone. So this does give us an opportunity and gives us a requirement to actually work across those boundaries. I'm Evie Kendal. I'm a lecturer of bioethics and health humanities at the Deakin School of Medicine. My research interests are pretty much anything to do with ethics of emerging technologies. So my specialty is artificial womb technology, and I've been moving into areas like space ethics. So space ethics is just focused on what kind of ethical frameworks do we want to govern our exploration and use of space. I think something like space ethics is only really going to come about with an interdisciplinary perspective. Of course, we need to think about the long-term impact of having human beings in space. So there's risks and benefits to astronauts, for example, that we need to be thinking about. There's risks and benefits for potential societies that we might want to initiate on other planets. So planetary defence is one of the examples where we will need interdisciplinary research to move forward. So we will need the expertise of scientists, and we will need the expertise of people who've actually been in space, ideally, but also we need the perspective of political scientists and sociologists, historians and ethicists. Planetary defence is really challenging because we're talking about ethical decisions in reality that have massive potential ramifications. When we have to decide how to deal with, say, an asteroid that's on a collision course, do we allow countries or space agencies to start stockpiling nuclear weapons in space? That's currently illegal. Do we say that as a last-ditch effort we're going to allow them to have that? Do we want to risk the benefits of that for a potential catastrophic incident that we want to avoid? So the collaboration with Nikolai and Peter that I was working on essentially was looking at things like it's morally superior to have a laser that can shoot down an asteroid rather than allow nuclear weapons to be stockpiled with that justification that they'll be used in planetary defense.
The objective of the group and of the project we are currently working on is to advise our government, but not necessarily on our government, but also to inspire the European Union and other governments in Europe and maybe even in Australia to collaborate on a large scientific endeavor which would give us new technologies now. How can we deflect the asteroid? Because what's the biggest problem of planetary defense right now is not necessarily only the asteroid, but even the fact that we are rationalizing nuclear weapons as a possible means how to deal with the asteroids.
We think it is important to have some sort of a massive scientific civilian cooperation, because we will face this question sooner or later if we want to, first of all, move humanity into space and ensure survival on this planet.
When it comes, for example, about 50 to 70 or 100 meter asteroid, that would be completely damaging to a city of Melbourne. And these asteroids, like 100 meters and more, there are hundreds of thousands of them. So this is not about statistics, this is about it's going to happen sooner or later.
We don't really know where the asteroids are going to fall when we actually even finally detect one. So it's by nature and by definition requires global cooperation, global responsibility.
I think the most important thing is just finding a common language that different countries and different agencies, different groups can actually agree upon in terms of what is desirable moving forward for humanity interacting in space. It is going to become more common as it becomes more affordable, as more people attain the ability to explore space. So it's something that we definitely want to make sure does not end up the research Wild West. I think the most rewarding thing about being involved in the collaboration was just being able to work with experts from all over the world who had a really interdisciplinary perspective. We can have different perspectives and we can have mature, reasoned debate together as scientists, as ethicists, as political scientists. And I think that was probably the most rewarding part, seeing so many different disciplines come together and actually achieve something together of that magnitude. Space is that thing that all cultures look to. Every culture looks to the stars. We have that romanticized vision of the sun and moon and stars and what that means to us. it is something that very much brings us together. Everyone is on the same pale blue dot. We need to work together to protect our planet, and that's against asteroids and comets, but also obviously against climate change and war and anything that is serving to divide us as a species.